Alex the roads getting bumpy when there's skeletons that they are riding on. There's a bunch of skeletons that they're riding on, and for some reason, so they go to get so they question. So I'm a little tired. So Patrick is being funny and says, "We're on a baby highway, don't sink them, no, wean them out." And the most laughing says, "We are." This is a joke. Patrick says a bubble blowing double bay doesn't belong out here. It's man's country. That's the lesson to be learned from all of this. And it's supposed to say, yeah, we blew that bottle. Doesn't that make us one? And they stop talking about it, and they get ice cream. And Patrick sees all these skulls, and he says, "Wait a minute, Spongebob, make mine chocolate." And says, "Got your cover," and he says, "2 please." And turns out this old lady that was selling ice cream is not old lady at all. It is the tongue of a monster that SpongeBob and Patrick drive away from and gets eaten by a bigger monster. And also their car gets eaten. So SpongeBob mentions how they lost their car again. And Patrick doesn't know, and there is, to make things worse, there's no role, and there's this bounty hunter that Plankton put on SpongeBob and Patrick to get rid of them and, well, execute them and stuff. So hey, look. I got my juice. I just put my Scarlett Johansson poster up. Let's hang on. Today is September 29, 2018. So Mindy SpongeBob, after Patrick found the road that's on this, below this deep dark has this scary place, yeah, he goes walking back in while Patrick is playing with the stairs and making noise. And SpongeBob says, "We'll never," and like, Patrick's where he's going, "I'm going home," and Patrick says, "What, Mr. Krabs?" And he says, "What about us? We'll never survive that." And says, "You say yourself, this is man country, and we're just kids." And Patrick says, "Well, no, we're not." And he says to Patrick, "Open your eyes, Patrick. We eat ice cream, we blow bubbles, we worship a dancing peanut. And you've been wearing the same goofy goober underpants for 3 years straight." And he asks, "What do you call that?" And Patrick says, "Worship." And they're all sad, and he both realize that SpongeBob is right there, because Mindy comes along and Patrick holds up his pants and asks if she saw his pants. Then he asks if she wanted to saw his underwear. I'm the other way around. So, she tells him what's going on, and shows him what's going on. That she's turned everyone that she knows into slave, and her father's too distracted by a ball spot to do anything. And she gives them a speech saying, "You just got to believe," and says, and says, "I believe everyone I know is a goner." And they all start crying, and to a point when once they both cry in their other mouths, and he says, "Ugh," and so they're still crying. And Mindy comes up with a plan, makes up some sort of magical mermaid magic to turn them into men, and tells them to close their eyes and spin around, and puts seaweed on their mouth, on top of their lips. And Mindy's all tries to get them all pumped up, and it works. And it says, "I'm afraid of anything," and they said, "Heck no." And why? And they said, "Because we're invincible." And they jump off of the edge of edge instead of taking the stairs. And SpongeBob pointing out, "That was pretty stupid of us to do that." And then they get saved. They landed by this, I don't know, some sort of seed plant, ocean plant, to break their fall. And Patrick says the mustache has worked, and they are convinced that they are invincible. And this means, you guessed it, they go into a song. No, a musical number. And they make friends with the monsters, and So SpongeBob makes this mean comment says, "We did, Patrick. We made it past everything, even the hates disgusting monsters." And we're like, "Aw." And SpongeBob says, "Not you guys. You guys are awesome." And SpongeBob says, "Well, Patrick, we should be in there one more song." I think he said, so the bounty hunter kills the rains on their parade and points out how the mustaches that they were wearing were completely fake and rips them off. And the bounty hunters played by Western. No, Alec Baldwin. He does a very good job. And so he's going to step on him with a big boot with spikes, but then he gets stepped on by a bigger boot. And somehow SpongeBob knows it's the Cyclops, because somehow he knows what the Cyclops looks like that Mindy was warning them about. Anyway, so they wake up in a fishbowl, and SpongeBob somehow knows what a fishbowl is, and fake painted rocks are. And he sees a bunch of fish folks and asks them for the help, and then he realizes those fish are dead, and sees what he's been doing with the sea creatures, making them to smelly knickknacks. And somehow he knew the word knickknacks. Hey, Dad. What are knickknacks? What are knickknacks?
Oh, they're small things that you find shells and stuff. The decorations.
This tell me the English version.
Shells and decorations.
English. I'm doing a review. I need to know.
How else to explain it, is it?
Okay, Dad. I'm not going. No. Don't yell at me.
I'm saying I don't know how to explain it.
Fine. Let's say you don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry about that. Sorry, Miss Coleman, that he wasted your time. I apologize because he has too much. He's too stubborn to not. So, and SpongeBob says to Patrick, he thinks they're next, and actor says, "You think so?" As Patrick's like Patrick is the Cyclops has Patrick in his hand, and then he gets SpongeBob and puts them under a lamp where SpongeBob and Patrick start drying out. And being tortured to death, and which is a really sad scene actually. So they get tortured to death, and says that everyone they ever thought about them was completely right, and Patrick thought it was not being attractive, and Boncho says no, it's that we're kids, and now we're way over our heads, and we didn't keep close to the ground. We let everyone down. We failed, and Patrick says Shell City, yeah, the place we never got to. And it says Shell City, and he says, and Boncho says, okay, now he's starting to really bum me out now, and this is as they get dry and more shriveled up, and he says, no, look at the sign, Shell City, bring gifts and sun drain. And so SpongeBob says Shell City is a gift shop, but if that's Shell City, then where's the crown? And you see the crown, and it says, and SpongeBob says Neptune's crown. This is Shell City, Pat. We didn't make it. And they start crying, and they said they did. And SpongeBob says we did all right for a couple of goofballs. And they start singing the Goofy Goober song. I'm a goofy goober, yeah. You're the goofy goober, yeah. We're all goofy goobers, yeah. Goofy goobers, yeah. And it zooms back to the audience in Paris all crying that no one, SpongeBob died and Patrick died, and he tells the bird pie, says look at the screen, tells Patrick to look at the screen, and says the bird's right, it's the tears of the Goofy Goobers, and the tear shorts out the lamp, and smoke comes up to the sprinklers, and starts sprinkling water, and SpongeBob and Patrick get their color back, and they're alive again, and they go to get that crown and try to lift it, and they manage. He says, "Hey, it's later than I thought." They do and they lift it, and says it's later than I thought, and Dad?
What?
I'm sorry I yelled at you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Joe. I couldn't explain it. I didn't know how to explain it any different.
Okay. So, the Cyclops is also holding the crown to help them out, and then a bunch of all the fish that were dead start coming back to life because of the sprinklers, and the torture the Cyclops with glue and Google eyes, and they all pile on him, and Patrick and SpongeBob arrange to get the crown back to the King Bomb, and Patrick pulls the rope and before they got on it, and it goes before they got on it, and so the hitcher get a ride from David Hasselhoff, and Bigger Boot is back, which but wondering how. Is what's under it is the is Hal's back. What's under it is the Big Boot is the bounty hunter that was hired by Plankton. So he gets on Hasselhoff and try to kill SpongeBob and Patrick, and SpongeBob makes this giant like jump from one leg to the other leg, and he beats him by accident because he offered him bubbles, and he says bubble buddy, and the bubbles like got in his eyes, and he got squished when they took a ride under something metal. So and that was just before, all the right time before SpongeBob would get stepped on, and so they make it to the location of the King Bomb, and Hasselhoff apparently has some sort of bionic chest that he uses to fire them right straight down to the King Bomb and into the Krusty Krab. Well, SpongeBob makes it in the second that his crab is about to get burned by King Neptune. So SpongeBob crown reflects the flame. No, the crown reflects the flame, and Hasselhoff gets burned. But don't worry, he's survived somehow. And SpongeBob saved the day, and all's ends well until SpongeBob says sorry to rain on his parade, and he says don't worry, it'll rain on me. I'll be quite dry under my umbrella. And that's when Plankton pulls a trick that he had up his sleeve and puts a Chumbucket helmet on Plankton, and now he's a brainwashed mind zombie. And now he all has them all, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mindy. Now they're all surrounded by these slaves of brainwashed zombies. And Patrick's a little confused what happened. SpongeBob said Plankton cheated. And Plankton says to Neptune, hold on there, Neptune. Cheated. What do you think this is a game? You never had a chance against me and wonder why. And SpongeBob says, because you cheated? No, not because I cheated, because I'm an evil genius and you're just a kid, a stupid kid. And they all laugh at SpongeBob, and SpongeBob admits to Plankton that he's right, and he learned something in the 6 minutes, 6 days. He has learned something in the 6 days of who he is. He's a kid. And says, but that's okay. Because I did everything people said a kid couldn't do. I brought the crown back. And he says starts saying all these names that people have called me are absolutely right, but most important, I'm Goofy Goober, and he starts saying Goofy Goober's a rock version of the Goofy Goober song, and he in the helmet and then he turns into a wizard and starts firing at all the helmets, and he frees everyone, and barely the helmets can't handle the level of rock and roll, so Plankton decides to get out of there and beat it, and because he now has Neptune free. And everyone steps all over Plankton, and he gets carried off by the police. And they do hip hip hooray for SpongeBob. And Mr. Carter calls Squidward, I think we know who rightfully deserves to win that manager pin. I couldn't agree more, sir. And SpongeBob says, I have some to say, I don't know how to put it, and Gordon thinks it's like this life-changing journey, as what he wanted was inside his heart all along, and he says that I was just going to tell people tell you your flight was down. And he is like, grabs the manager, like a pen, manager tag, and he jumps and said, this is the greatest day of my life. And after the credits, the pirates are still in the theater, and this girl tells that they have to leave, and the pirate pulls a sword on her, says that again if you dare, and she does. Says you must have leaving. He said okay, and they all leave.